will give us a travel pass so we can go, right?
All right, exactly. So for our next little few minutes, let's talk about some Black history.
Yes. Let's do that.
So there's, I don't know, had you ever heard of Reginald F. Lewis?
No.
So Reginald is the first Black billion-dollar businessman.
Really now?
Yeah, and he is a Kappa, Alpha Phi. So a friend of mine who's also a Kappa, sent this over to me. So PBS is going to do a new documentary on him.
Really?
And
when?
he has it's going to be, let me get the dates. It's going to air Friday the 16th. On WLW21 at 8 o'clock, and it's going to end Sunday, February 18th. It's on 7:30 on Channel 13. I don't know what that's probably a network online, and Saturday the 24th at 7 p.m. But it's on PBS, so wherever your PBS.
Check that out.
So we got a little video, and we're gonna run that one, and it kind of talks about who Reginald Lewis is and what accomplishments he made. You'll be quite impressed.
All right, let's listen in.
From modest beginnings in Baltimore, Maryland, to an international billion-dollar empire.
My grandfather said, know your job, and I can promise you'll never be in a bread line.
Since the beginning, Reginald F. Lewis was destined for success.
I signed him up for CAM. And he said, who's going to take care of my business? And I said, I will. And the first thing he said when he walked through the door, where's my money?
A man with an unconventional approach to conventional institutions.
I was told that he is the only person to get into Harvard Law School without formally applying.
The thing that I admired about Reginald Lewis, he was a take charge kind of a guy. The sheriff reached for me. Reggie grabs the sheriff's arm and said, wait a minute, who are you? I'm the high sheriff, who are you? And I'm Reginald F. Lewis, I represent Reverend Shavers. Yes, he was a Wall Street, highly trained corporate lawyer, but he was a strong freedom fighter for civil rights.
He was Jesse Jackson's first big funder, handing Jesse Jackson a $100,000 check, unsolicited.
Reg Lewis, in many ways, was the Jackie Robinson of business.
I have to admit, when I first met Reg, I wasn't told that he was Black. There weren't that many Black entrepreneurs in New York City at the time.
He bought 64 companies in 31 countries for almost $1 billion. So in that sense, he is a pioneer.
The fact that we were able to close a gargantuan deal, given its international character, was just, it was absolutely off the charts.
There is no doubt that Reginald Lewis's success paved the way for me and many others. And I think that really is the test and demonstration of real leadership.
Keep going to build a better society in America, to be a compassionate America, that you keep going no matter what. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Pioneers, Reginald F. Lewis and the making of a billion-dollar empire.
This is phenomenal.
Is that
I did
not know about
this.
So Reginald Lewis, he one of the things that he did was he purchased the pattern company McCall in 1983. And with $1 million he saved from his dealings as a corporate lawyer, he led a $23 million buyout of a small dress pattern maker. And I used pattern when I was sewing. Mm-hmm. That was the patterns that I used. And 4 years later, after restoring the ailing company to financial health, Mr. Lewis sold McCall to John Crowther Company Group of Britain for $63 million. So he made a $43 million profit in cash, which bought him his personal profit or net worth to $50 million. He's most famous for executing a $1 billion buyout of Beatrice International Foods, and the deal was the largest offshore leverage buyout ever by an American company. He bought the snack snack food, beverage, and grocery store conglomerate in 1987 for $985 million, and he turned it into a company which at its peak in 1996 was bringing in $2.2 billion a year. At the time, it was the largest African-American owned and managed business in the U.S. and ranked 512 on Fortune magazine's list of 1,000 largest companies.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah, isn't that amazing?
That is phenomenal.
So he died. He died of brain cancer in 1993. So that was like right after he bought the company.
Wow.
At the young age of 50.
Wow, that is phenomenal.
So,
he is definitely a trailblazer.
Yeah, so that's some history, and that's the sad thing in our community. We don't talk about.
No,
you know, this was a man of today, not a man of yesterday.
Some people probably don't even know.
Right,
him.
and I knew because I was out here at the time in '93. I had just kind of started my entrepreneurial life, and so by starting that, I kind of was doing my research and I was writing a business plan for my business. And so I was doing my research on who were some billion-dollar industries and what was the marketplace out there, and that's how I found out. And then I read about him and so forth. And
that's phenomenal.
Isn't that amazing?
I definitely want a copy of that video and that narrative.
And then you want to see the PBS special because it's going to go into more detail on his life. And now his wife actually runs the company, and I don't know if his daughter's there, but that was his daughter. So I don't know if she's also involved. But isn't that
definitely
absolutely
a pioneer in the African American?
And I think that's for our businesses. They need to see that we don't have to run ma and pa businesses.
That's right.
Right, we can leverage our business up to that. We don't. There's no limit to how and where and where we're supposed to stop.
Right, and we don't necessarily have to do business with the man. We can do business with ourselves and others like us.
Exactly. I mean, he did what they do.
Yeah.
But he was an African American man who was very proud, and he was a civil rights activist. So, and that's, I think, is very important for us to continue and to talk about people that have done great things and that are continuing to do great things, and definitely highlight and honor those that are doing that type of business today.
They need to make a movie about him.
Yeah, well, they are. They're doing a documentary about his life, and our kids can see that, and that's the image that we want to portray when I do the entrepreneurial classes.
Yes.
That you too can create these kind of businesses. Right. So we need people to know that. One of our guests today, Layla, she's done some amazing things in business, and she doesn't think small.
Right.
I was very impressed when I saw she was at the Bella Network conference, and just how we think about doing business. We just have to think about doing it on a bigger level and get out. Once you start it, then that's when you hire your employees and let them run the day to day, and you're still out there getting bigger and bigger. He couldn't have done that being behind the desk.
And that's why we got to be able to build our infrastructure, build that infrastructure solid so you can build on that and move to the greater things. We want small businesses to move from an informal status to a formal status. That's what we want.
Exactly.
Yes.
So because that's what our community needs. Just think about that. What if we had like 20 people like Reginald Lewis?
Yeah.
Our communities wouldn't be in the shapes that they are. People would be making decent salaries and growing, and we'd be very there would be no gentrification in our communities because we would have a mainstay. We'd own the property and the buildings and all that sort of stuff.
Amazing.
The schools, the politicians.
Well, through our efforts here on the Business Zone, I'm sure we'll be able to start helping to galvanize that type of effort for our small business, our entrepreneurs, and make it happen.
Yes, I'm sure. Yes,
definitely.
As long as everybody wants to do. I mean, like the whole reason that we do what we do is so that we can help people dream bigger, and then eventually move into that, create and make that, visualize that, and then make that a reality.
And with that being said, we're at the bottom of the hour, so we'll roll into our sponsorship. Who our sponsors are today. We've got 3 sponsors for this program, and one of them is
Recycling Black Dollars.
And for those of you who are listening who don't know what Recycling Black Dollars is, Crystal?
It is the consciousness of Black people.
That's right. It makes you awaken. Okay?
Yes, awaken you and let you realize that you need to put your dollars back into our community so we have a better community to live in. We support small businesses through networking and workshops and classes. We have a resource guide that has been in existence, I want to say, for the last 15 years, and it's to advertise your business. I'm getting ready to launch. So our breakfast mixer is next Tuesday. We do a monthly breakfast mixer every second Tuesday at Denny's at 8 o'clock in the morning on Crenshaw, 3740 Crenshaw. So we're launching our 2018 resource guide has been published, so
Excellent.
It will be available, and we're launching our new website on the 18th.
Good. And just for the audience that's listening, and thank you for listening to the Business Zone. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for spending your time to learn about business resources, entrepreneurship, how it comes together with small business and supply diversity to create success. But what we also want to tell you is that our dollar, it does not stay long in our community. Crystal, you want to tell them how long that dollar lived for?
Our dollar stays 6 hours in our community.
6 hours. That's how long the dollar lives in our community.
That floors you, doesn't it?
It kills me. Because 6 hours, let me see. So I woke up this morning at 8:30. So 6 hours from 8:30 is going to be what? About 12:30, 2:30, right? Somewhere around there, right? So at 2:30, that dollar is dead. It's gone from our community. Right, it's somewhere else.
Because you know what happened, right? Because you got if you were an employee, you got your check today, Friday, and 2:30. If you went to work at 6, 2:30 you got off, right? And then you went to the bank. You put it in the white bank. And there you go.
Yeah, 6 hours later, it's gone.
It's gone.
And in the Jewish community and the Latino community, the Asian community, it lives much, much longer. It lives weeks, right?
Yeah, it actually it gets turned over, I want to say, it stays in about 14 days. In the Hispanic community, in the Jewish communities, about 17, 18 days. In the white community, forever. So
we got to do better, small businesses. We've got to do better. And the reason I raise this point is because many of us don't know this, so we really want to put it out there so that you know. And also, if you can help a small business, not to provide charity for them, but to support them because they provide the services and the products that you need, as opposed to buying from the competition who may not be in your community. That's all we're saying. So our next sponsor is Small Biz Pro. And Small Biz Pro is a program that I own. And it's a business management and compliance system that helps small businesses to become business ready, contract ready, and bank loan ready by allowing you to upload your documents, store it all in one place so you can retrieve them in seconds, 10 seconds or less whenever you need them. Also, if you need bid and contract opportunities, they're all collected in one location for you. If you want to conduct some market research, you can also do that in one place. So that's what Small Biz Pro is all about. And small businesses, if you're running your business, you don't have a system like that, you need to think about getting a system like that. And our third sponsor is the state of California, Crystal.
Yes.
The Department of General Services.
Mm-hmm.
And they provide contract opportunities and certification for small businesses, right?
Yes, and then some of those tax dollars that you actually pay in can come back to you by doing contractual work with the state of California.
Yes, and what Crystal and I are doing in our program, we've got a mastermind program that we run. And our next class is coming up February 22nd.
Mm-hmm.
And what we do is we teach you how to become business ready. And also what we do is we assist you in applying for this certification with the state of California so that you in turn can go out and seek opportunities, contract opportunities with the state of California. Our goal this year, Crystal, is to help as many of you obtain at least a $50,000 contract. $50,000 contract. Think about that, how that could change your business to start. Our goal is to get you up to that $250,000, because why are we doing $250,000, Crystal?
So that the tax reform bill will benefit you.
There you go. That tax bill that they tell you about recently, that benefits the rich and the big companies, it starts at $250,000. So if we can get you to that level, then you will step